Thank you so much for all the support you gave me, guys.
Okay.
Today, I got promoted.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Welcome to Living Gets Real. I'm Ashwini Vedakan. Joining us on this week's episode, we have Hibshi. But before we get into the show, here's a little sneak peek into his life. Welcome to Living Gets Real, Hibshi. It's good to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the most basic question. 60 seconds on the clock. How would you describe yourself to our viewers?
Right. I am a singer-songwriter producer. For most of my career, I've been producing for a lot of leading artists in Sri Lanka. So in the recent past, I've produced some music for Yohani, for Romain Willis. Over the years, I've produced some music for Iraj, pre-controversy. So that's what I've done for most of my career. But now I'm sort of focused on my artist career and putting my music out. So I've been sort of curating this Sinhala English sound, and that's kind of my biggest focus right now. So we just dropped one song and I have a ton of music coming out.
Nice. How about your journey to music? How did that happen?
I'd say I've kind of been doing this my whole life in some way or the other, maybe starting off as a music fanatic as a child, and then I think in 2014 something I started professionally producing. 2017 is when I sort of kickstarted my solo sort of artist career. And at the time, I think the years leading up to 2017, a lot of producers were becoming artists around the world. Like if you look at how Avicii blew up, and Hardwell, and Calvin Harris, Skrillex, Diplo, guys like that. So I kind of wanted to go in that I kind of wanted to follow in their footsteps at the time, right? So the way I started was I would produce music and I would write the songs and I would feature vocalists on my songs, right? And the benefit of kind of being a part of a movement like that was blowing up around the world was that there were also a lot of emerging independent labels and things like that around the world, right? So I think being in Sri Lanka, an advantage for me was I was able to sign with a lot of these labels around the world, and as a result I had say the first Sri Lankan song to do 1 million streams on Spotify, and then I had the second Sri Lankan song to do 1 million streams on Spotify. So I think being a part of that movement let me do that, but a big gap for me was the fact that I was never doing anything for Sri Lanka. I was never making Sinhala music, I was never sort of contributing to this scene, and so that's kind of where my head is at now. So I feel like during the last lockdown and sort of being isolated, we all had time to reevaluate what we were doing, and so around that time I kind of started refocusing my attention, and right now I'm focused on curating this Singlish sound for Sri Lanka.
Nice. Now, as you mentioned yourself, you're a lyricist, you're into production, you also sing.
Yeah.
Where does your strength lie?
The way I would rate it is songwriting, production, and then vocals. Simply because I'm a big believer of the 10,000 hour rule. And whatever you put the most time into is where I feel like you get the most quality out of. Songwriting is what I've kind of done my whole life. Writing is what I've done my whole life. Production, I would say now I'm nearing a decade. I've been producing since 2017, I would say, 2014. So it's almost a decade now. Vocals was the last thing I kind of got into. It was the thing I've always identified as an introvert my whole life, so that was the thing I kind of kept pushing off. And now I'm finally doing that as well. So I would rate that the last. The last. Yeah.
Nice. Now you mentioned yourself you released a song. Could you tell us a little bit about the song?
Sure. It's a song called Karna. It features Sankabi, who is a tremendous vocalist and a good friend of mine. I feel like the main sort of intention behind that was to kind of set the stage in terms of what kind of sound I'm going to be doing for Sri Lanka. I think Karna was, when I decided to go on this Singlish sort of journey, Karna was one of the earliest songs I made, right? And I wanted it to be a proper reflection of my sort of style of music. I love making very melodic music. So Karna it's full on melodic. I feel like it's super chill. It hits all the right spots. So that's kind of the sound that I'm going to be pursuing.
Nice. Now you mentioned you're dabbling with Singlish. You want to make that your sound, and you also just mentioned melodic. What would you consider your favorite genre to work towards?
It's kind of evolved over the years. I started off in EDM music, as
Okay.
you know, it used to be called. So yeah, I started off in electronic music, but I feel like my passion was always like growing up. I was a massive hip hop R&B kid, but I kind of deviated from that as I started producing. But I've kind of come back to my roots. So that's kind of like what I love doing, hip hop R&B. That I would say is my genre right now.
Nice. What about an EP? Do you plan on dropping a new EP anytime soon?
Yes, we just announced that I have an EP coming out. It's called 3 a.m. in Colombo.
Okay.
Again, I wanted it to be super reflective of the fact that it's properly like curated for Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Wanted to have a little shout out for Colombo in the title, and I've got the song that just came out is going to be a part of the EP. I've also got Romain on the EP, I've got KK on the EP, and this rapper called Diluka. So it's 5 songs, and yeah, I'm super stoked for it to come out.
Nice. We've actually reached the end of our burning segment, but we have a little game planned for you.
Okay.
We have that with all our interviewees. Are you ready for yours?
Sure.
Okay. We'll be back with Hibshi's game after a short word from our sponsors.
You love the feeling of being renewed. To protect the things most precious to you. To stay beautiful every single day. To breathe just like we do, because you are truly delicate. Protecting the ones who've been with us through the years. With Sayalac Care, the only wood coating that truly protects you. Sayalac Wood Coatings from Jat.
Welcome back to the show as we continue our conversation with Hibshi. And now it's time for Hibshi's rapid fire round game. Are you ready?
Not at all.
Okay. First thing that comes into your head, don't take too long, okay? What word do you hate hearing?
I want to say moist.
Okay. Who do you text the most?
Friends.
What is your Hogwarts house?
I want to say Gryffindor.
Okay. What were you afraid of as a child?
Still afraid of reptiles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could be transformed into any animal, what would you choose?
Horse.
Okay. What is your hidden talent?
I can move my ears. Does that count?
Like you can wiggle them. Oh, okay. Do you believe in ghosts?
I want to, but no.
Okay. Do you think you would make a good spy?
Maybe
Would you rather fly or have super strength?
fly.
A night out or a night in?
Night in.
Do you watch shows one episode at a time or do you binge the whole season?
Depends on the show. I do both.
Okay. Work or play?
Work kind of feels like play a lot of the time.
Okay. Love or friendship?
Friendship.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Learn by watching or learn by doing?
Learn by doing.
Okay. Fresh food or fried food?
Fried food.
Are you more cautious or are you bold?
Cautious.
Okay. Cannonball into a pool or dip your toe first?
Take my toe first.
Dip your toe first. Okay. Well, we've reached the end of the show. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
And that's all the time we have for you this week. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to catch the latest episodes of Living Gets Real. Thank you for watching and stay safe.